Welcome to BTI, that's Bible Training Institute. We open the scriptures every week, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little. Study with us and learn how to know God as a close, intimate, and personal friend, and learn what is soon to come upon this world.
Help all to see that as receivers of the grace of Christ, they're under obligation to work for him. And let all be taught how to work, especially to those who are newly come to the faith, be educated to become what? Laborers together with God. Why? If set to work, the despondent will soon forget their what? You know, the despondent is the one who always finds a fault with something. The despondent, if you let him in heaven, he would find the fault with heaven. He would find the fault with God. He would find the fault with the music of heaven, with the food of heaven. He would be at the welcome table and saying, you know what, my mom cooked it better. And you know you're lying. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm going to put something on the board. This is not our main discussion. What's that? Have you heard about UFOs? That right now there are hearings going on at the White House. Hearings. You know, not a joke. Hearings that have been going on for several years about high officials in the government seeing UFOs. Yes. And they're talking about it right now. And they're discussing what could they be. And they have little things in there. This is the old name. The new name that they have is called UAP. And it's talking, because UFO is talking about unidentified flying objects, but they wanted to include what's happening in the sea, the air, the land. And so this is the modern name for UFOs. And the A is talking about abnormal phenomena. So when you have universal or unidentified abnormal phenomena. And they start seeing things that have technology outside of human beings. So they see things that are happening, they're flying, and a person's in a MiG-19, or as you were, and he's flying, and he says, I've never seen anything fly like that. He is moving in a direction that an actual plane can't move or a jet can't move. And they're saying that's not natural. They're looking at the speed in which it goes, and they can't track it. They're saying this is a technology that humanity doesn't have. And they're looking at this. Now, hold that on the screen. Hold that on the desktop for a moment. So in the 1880s, there was a considered of a Sunday law in the nation, and something else was going on at the same time. They were considering Sunday laws in the nation. Now, I'm going to go over here. It says, former President Donald Trump wants to do a full Grover Cleveland and match the only U.S. president to lose a presidential election and then rise from the ashes to regain the White House 4 years later. You begin to start seeing the time frame. What's at the heart of this time frame? Talk to me, somebody. 1888. Interesting. The only time this has happened before is in the 1880s, around 1888. What was happening in 1888? Yes, the Sunday law was getting ready to happen, and Jesus was getting ready to come the second time. And God actually had to extend probation. But now my brother says that means that where we were back then, we've come back for the first time where we were back from the 80s. Another Sunday law is about to be passed. Jesus is getting ready to come the second time. But guess what? No more extension. It's going to be just like it was before the flood, before the time when the children of Israel went into the promised land. When they got ready to go into the promised land, you remember, they almost went in, but two men, while others said that they could not, two men said we could go in. The two men were Joshua and who? Caleb. But the rest of the congregation did not believe. They doubted. And as a result, we wondered for a long time. Am I right or wrong? Now, we know in the antitype, all that's type. In the antitype, there were two men again. A.T. Jones and Wagner in the 1880s. They said that we could go in and that Christ, through his righteousness, if we believe by faith in Jesus and develop that relationship with him, we could be ready for the coming of the Lord. But the majority rejected, the congregation. And so we've wandered a long period of time. But now in the type, when they got back to the same place they were in before the two men, Joshua and Caleb, said that we could and the others said they couldn't, when they got back to the same place, did they have another long period of wandering? That second time. The first time they had a long period. But when they came to the end of the 40 years, they came right back around to where they were when they started the first time. And this time, guess what? There were still people that did not believe. But they didn't go back again into another 40 years. You know what happened? The apostasy of Jordan happened, and those people died out. They were separated from the church. And so in the antitype, when we come back around to where we were in the 1880s, and we got there in 2024, guess what? No more wondering. The people who don't believe this time, guess what's going to happen? a shaking is going to take place. The Sunday law will be passed. And so God is trying to tell us, please, this is the last time.
If you were blessed by this study and would like to be a part of the BTI, that's Bible Training Institute, simply have your Bible pen and paper handy and check out our weekly studies by logging on to molministry.com/BTI. Also, tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest. Maranatha.